Today, we continue our weekly exploration of the 12 tribes of Israel, today focusing on the tribe of Dan. Shalom, my friends. This is the Akiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. The fifth son born to Jacob is the son of Dan. He was born not to Leah after she had the first 4 of his children, and not to Rachel, but to Rachel's maidservant Bilhah. Rachel really wanted to have children through Jacob, so that it wasn't happening, and gave her maidservant Bilhah to Jacob in order to have a child in her name, so to speak. And the first of those 2 children that she will have through her maidservant Bilhah is Dan. Now, Dan comes from the Hebrew word ladun, which means to judge. And this is exactly what Rachel says when Dan is born. She said, God has judged me, basically has listened to me. And she looks at it as a favorable thing that God is, hearing her and listening to her and giving her this child through her maidservant, which was a pretty common practice in the ancient times. And so with this name, Dan, comes a lot of weight, so to speak. Meaning judgment, carries with him this very, very important value of justice. Right? And we know that in Judaism, the value, the sense, the practice, the practicing of justice is very, very important. Setting up courts of laws. Right? So much of the Torah has to do with the laws of justice. What do you do in this case? What do you do in this case when someone brings, this claim in front of judges or against another person? What is the judgment? What is the answer? And so much of Jewish law is wrapped around this idea and this value, obviously, of justice. And this is really symbolized by the tribe of Dan, and that's why their symbol, the symbol of their tribe, is the balance of justice, right? Which really, represents so much of the values of equality and freedom and, doing what's right in this world. It's interesting that when the 12 tribes of Israel traveled through the desert for 40 years, they each had their own specific place where they were meant to travel. In a very specific formation, and the last tribe in this formation, the last tribe in their travels, was the tribe of Dan, and they were known for picking up any lost items, forgotten items, dropped items of any other tribe, and they would pick this up, and they would return these items to the proper tribes, which really, symbolizes their deep desire for justice in this world, right? In such a minutiae kind of way, what might seem like such a mundane kind of way. Someone drops something, okay, what's the big deal? But they were so meticulous about somebody dropped something they still wanted. It's still theirs, it's not mine. Right? So often people will find things in the world and, it's mine, right? But Judaism and Jewish law says, no. There's very specific laws about returning a lost item to somebody. And, doing so really shows a person's deep desire for justice, right? Definitely not saying it's theirs. That's not just at all. Just because you found it doesn't mean it's yours, right? So really, this idea, this value of justice, which again is so embedded in the tribe of justice from their birth, when Rachel says these words, through their actions in the world, right, really comes out in a very, very strong way. It's interesting to note that even before Judaism was born, even before the Torah was given, even before the 10 Commandments, there were the 7 laws of Noah. Right? Jewish tradition teaches that after the flood, God gave the world 7 laws to follow that would hopefully, ideally, create a better society than what was, right? Which is why there was a flood in the first place, because there was so much immorality in human society at that time. Out of the 7 laws, one of them is setting up courts of justice. Right? That's how important it is. Right? God, summed up all of the important things that a society needs into just 7 laws, and one of them was setting up courts of justice, right? Because as much as we believe in human goodness, people do wrong sometimes, and people make mistakes, and sometimes people are even evil. And society, in order to run properly, needs to take care of this and not let it run wild, correct it, to keep it in its place, and to give out justice and punishments as necessary. And that's, why we see it as one of the very few laws that was given to society, to humanity, after the flood. So this is the tribe of Dan, fifth son born to Jacob, representing justice, representing what's right in this world. And I'll just leave you with one final teaching that every single day we wake up and we're given moments of bringing justice into our own lives and into the environment around us, right? And we're given that opportunity. Sometimes it can feel like a challenge, but every single day we are able to increase the amount of justice in the world, between people, in certain situations, in the world in general, and really bringing out this very, very important value that goes back thousands of years in human history, and that is very, very intimately and directly connected to the tribe of Dan.